So good morning again. I'm doing another video on another parkour map. Let me see. Okay. I'll tell you something else about my life and my past life. This will be the last video of this kind, I would say. Always a story about the past here, the past there, but to put it in context again. Context, and again context. Okay. After the worst time of my life in 2018, which I explained in my first video, I needed a lot of time to recover from everything. So I didn't go to work for a few years and just logged off social media to calm down and reflect on everything. Yes, because I had to deal with mental pain, maybe a bit of trauma. I explained it earlier. And I tried some studies and they all didn't work out either. So, yeah, I don't know. There are more important things than a degree from a university nowadays. At least I have my high school one. And then in July 2019, something unprecedented happened. I had an exam, one of maybe other 3 or 4, and I didn't participate in them. I was sitting on some rock by a river and thinking about life. I don't know. But when I got home, I heard about something and which overwhelmed me. My father had a stroke at work and fell down in the toilet room, and others had to break the door open, the co-workers, and this door hit his head, but they could rescue him and drive him to the hospital. And when I got home, I went to his workplace again with my sister and we brought his bike home. And yes, what do I have to say about this? Who would have thought of that? But yes, he wasn't the healthiest person ever. He was a chain smoker and drank alcohol, but more about it a bit later. May God forgive me for something I've done in 2016. When I started smoking and I kept up this habit for 2 years, my father was at the hospital too, and he asked me to bring some tobacco he had in his basement at home so that he could smoke a bit there. And you know, it's something irrational which happens with addicts. What was that? So, control my jumps a bit. Maybe wait for a few seconds. I don't want to neglect my jumps completely. Okay, doesn't matter. What's the dilemma with addicts? Either they have a boring, long life in which they feel unsatisfied without the drugs, or one with drugs but potentially a shorter one. And I had the same mind state at the time, as a chain smoker myself, at that time at least. Thank God I didn't keep up this habit. But yeah, so I did it because I would have done it for myself if I was in that position in 2016, I'd say. It's It's a tricky topic, yes. So we fast forward to September 2019. Many of us of the Bauer family have visited our father, and it was my turn to do this, and yes, why not? I mean, I like my father. And I had an interesting thought, I would say, maybe personally, but I shared. I still shared. I don't care. We got off the train in the main station from Stuttgart, and I saw all these crowds, all loud, and I just thought to myself, this is hell. I can't explain it. It felt like this, and it's very interesting that these events happened almost at the same time as the emergence of the coronavirus in end 2019. I loved that time. I really loved the corona time of lockdown. No people around, you could do everything in peace. Shopping, walking, football games were better without the shouts. It felt like heaven on earth. Hell is other people, right? Isolation, lockdown, wow. This was really, really like a dream come true. For me as an introvert anyway. As long as you weren't infected, of course. But there were also many verbal fights at home, which was the hellish part of that time. And I remember something from end 2020, and I love all my sisters and brothers. You already know. But I was reported to the police, and I didn't know who did it, but it was me and my ex, or how should I call it? I don't know. Somebody from former time, from the former past. I went to Billertan with my sister to the police station. I thought, wow, that was very kind of her, that she accompanies me, and then I found out that she herself reported me to the police with another girl. And I thought to myself, why can't you just talk to me? Like normal siblings do? I don't know what happened. She let somebody else record a voice note of me and just report it to the police. I'm not your enemy. What was that? But she helped me several times in life, so it's no bad blood, but it maybe taints the legacy she's left behind. She's now married, and I'm very happy for her. So do not misunderstand this one. Okay. The last page, we moved for the first time in 2021. Thanks to my sisters who worked at the time. You could just call it lazy, but I had to gather my thoughts and everything around me in my spirit. Whatever. I very often use the word spirit, I guess. Maybe in the first or second video, but I try to avoid it for the next ones, of course. My 13-year-old brother at that time built all the wardrobes and the cupboards, the shelves, and so on and so forth. I'm very, very bad at handcrafting. So I ran a little joke. I'm not a man, and I sometimes wore a veil to underscore the joke. I don't know, let me just tell it. It's my video, and I think that's fine. And since 2020, our dad was back again at home. He was on life-supporting fluids and so on. We're just happy that he was still alive, honestly. and he had an operation on his skull. Yes, so it looked very different when we visited him, but he was alive. We were very happy about it. That's all I can say about that. And there was another incident before we moved to Corp. Winter of 2020. We had a very average evening. No, I was preparing for sleep, and the other part of my family at the other on the other side of the house were just sitting around or something like that, and one of them saw just flames bursting out. They saw it out of the window, and it just thought, what was that happening right now? Flames were maybe 100 meters away from home, and we all had to get out, of course, but nobody was harmed. But it was a very special one to me. I'm happy that Hell's Flames didn't reach us. And yeah, now we move forward to June 8, 2022. June 7, 2022 was also a very happy evening. Was a football match going on. And yes, a father with his health for a few years, but it all seemed stable. So we expected another normal morning. Waking up, seeing the sun, saying hello to everyone. And yes, he passed away at night. Maybe had a little heart attack, or a heart attack. I don't have to say little, to be honest. It's a very serious thing. He had a heart attack and left us all. He's done everything for us to this point, so I'm just grateful for the times we had to share, and may God rest his soul. It's now our turn to move on and do what we have to do to fulfill our mission. And yes, may God help us all. Let me just finish these 2 levels, and then I turn the recording off. I'm actually from Germany. I'm living in Germany with my whole family, but it is a bit more natural to me to do these videos in English because my mother is from Ghana and English is the official language of that country. She's also talking some Chi on the phone, which I understand but can't really speak. Yeah, she talks very often English to us. So you may see it as a choice, whatever, but I don't see it that way. And ironically, that football game, which had on TV before the tragic night happened, was Germany against England, and I think it's a good representation of who I am, who my family is. Somehow German, but also a bit English. Mother is also a few percent English, so let me run with this theory. It's a bit funny. I think that I can do these levels on a rather fast pace normally, without talking or telling a story, but level 5 and 6 are still difficult. I don't always want to do Let's Plays video 3 and 4 will be rather different. Won't tell you anything about that. Let me just surprise you if you want to watch, I hope. Finally. I think my English is okay. I'm not a very eloquent talker. It doesn't matter which language, but I think it's okay. But concentrating to tell a story or to read a story out a bit, I still tell it rather freely, but I do some notes, is a very difficult task. But I need these experiences right now to adjust my style of recording, so that's fine. It's still just my second video ever, my second real video ever. I did some attempts before. Yeah. Yes, and that's it. So, thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye. Love you all.